If you want to support Slope's Game Room, then please click the links that you see in the top comments. Video game characters are the fictional beings that we remember more than the games themselves. For the most part, it doesn't matter how good your game is, if it doesn't have a good lead role, then it's probably going to fail. Easier said than done. Marketing departments have been trying to create characters that have lasting appeal since the very beginning of gaming. Some succeed, whilst others fail badly.
Hello, you. It is I, Guru Larry, back again with my alter ego DJ Slope from Slope's Game Room, discussing the reasons as to why many of our beloved video game characters had to change their names. What prompted the video game giants Sega, Capcom, Atari, and The Hidden to change their names of the most valuable video game assets? Well, that's what we plan to discuss today in 4 stupid reasons why video game characters had to change their names. Did you know that Pac-Man's original name was Puck-Man in Japan? And because of this, they had to change it to cause, vandalism and stuff. Of course you bloody did. We've all seen Scott Pilgrim before. This is basic gaming knowledge, and far too simple for this crowd. However, what you may not know is that it wasn't the only change of a video game character's name to be made because of its vulgar similarities. Oh, no. Another good one would be Donk, the samurai duck for the Amiga. A rather splendid and often forgotten little Euro platformer, filled to the brim with all your typical Euro platforming traits. You know, collecting gems and getting lost in maze-like platforming stages. All that sort of thing. Now, the game did show up in demo form quite a bit on the lead up to its release in magazines, such as Amiga Format, and the developers used this to get feedback to make the game better. Ah, those were the days. For example, the one hit and you're dead was changed to give Donk a life bar. The design of the character himself also changed significantly. They even added a 2-player mode too. Oh, and one other thing. Before he was named Donk, he was named Dong. Yep, The Hidden, that's the company that made the game, called the samurai duck Dong. This wasn't a mix-up in translation or a mistake. It was simply, and I quote, a cheap knob gag. The developers wanted to see Dong in big letters when it would eventually be released in shops up and down the country. But of course, this didn't happen, as a major retailer found out that they would be stocking a game called Dong and refused to do that very thing. DMI, the publisher, then forced The Hidden to change the title, which they did, before DMI went bust. And the boys had to get it published by another company who raked up the price, and as a result, it got slightly underwhelming reviews. Yep, Euro gaming reviewers were seriously tight in the 90s if a game was too expensive, $26.99 in this existence. So it got a worse review than it perhaps should have got. Still, Donk, or Dong if you prefer, did get himself a rather solid little fan base. A remake involving the original team was in development at one point for the Sega Dreamcast. And crazier still, the game also got a dedicated card game made just in time for its 20th anniversary. Nice. Oh, and one final note to add here. In 2-player mode on the CD32, Donk's sidekick is called Judo Jugs. Dong's arch enemy was a character named Big Bad Dick, and the follow-up game, which was a mashup of manga and Formula 1 driving, was going to be called The Big End. Moving on.
Atari doesn't really have a mascot. Pitfall Harry was pretty well known, I suppose. Yar from Yar's Revenge. Major Havoc from, Major Havoc. But for the time, one of the more likely contenders for the Atari crown would have probably been Bentley Bear of Crystal Castles. Now, Crystal Castles, like most Atari home computer games, actually started its life in the arcades as a sort of asteroid spin-off, where you control a robot shooting asteroids in a 3D looking isometric space, with its likely name being Toporoids. This obviously got swapped out when Atari saw the potential of having an official mascot in this rather impressive game, so they decided to change the 3D structures for castles, the asteroids for gems, and the robot for a bear named Bentley. However, if we were going to go back to the beginning once again, when this new huggable collectathon was being beta tested in arcades around America, what you may not know is that Bentley Bear went under the name Braveheart Bear. That was until several Native American groups complained to Atari and forced the name change due to Braveheart being a Native American Indian name.
Let's chat about everyone's favourite non-copyright infringing Astro Boy clone, Mega Man. Now, it probably comes to the surprise of you all that Mega Man isn't called Mega Man in Japan. Yeah, it's true! In Japan, the other Blue Blur went under the name Mighty Kid, Knuckle Kid, Rainbow Battle Kid, no seriously, before eventually being known as Rockman. Now, this name was chosen due to the musical genre of rock and or roll serving as the basis of the names of the main characters. You obviously got Rockman for the rock side of things, and his sister, who was called Roll, so you get the idea. It also worked in another way too, as the game's original titles included a rock, paper, scissors gameplay mechanic that worked with the game's name. Anyway, that was over in Japan. As you all know, when the game was released in the States, Rockman got a name change. The majority of the characters got translated in a way to keep the musical style alive, such as bass, beat, tango, reggae and treble. But Rockman weirdly became Mega Man, completely ruining this theme that has absolutely nothing to do with the game. Why? Why translate 90% of the game but then change the final part? Well, that would be the work of former Vice President of Capcom, Joseph Morisi, who simply didn't like the name. The title was horrible, he stated in a 1993 interview. And that's that. Right? Well, yes, technically that is true, but it wasn't Rockman as a whole they had issues with. It was the term rock itself, which is homeboying terminology for rock cocaine. Capcom didn't want to confuse parents by releasing a game that could be seen by idiots as Cocaine Man. Surprisingly, no one had an issue with Dr. Willy though, did they? Yes, I know it's Wily. I'm trying to be funny here.
Mr. Bad Wrench, Mr. Bad Year, Fatty Lobotnik, and Dr. Bad Vibes were all possible names given to Dr. Ivo Robotnik in the West due to Sega of America's constant desire to fiddle about with Sega of Japan's ultimate creation. And of course, to really solidify that relationship with Japan, America decided to go ahead with this name change without telling Japan that this was going to happen, resulting in everybody's favourite mustachioed supervillain being called Robotnik in the American manual and Eggman in the Japanese manual. Yuji Naka, the series creator, who was no doubt sick of people asking him why this change happened in an interview, tried to rectify this by stating that the Egg name was a nickname based on his shape being, well, egg-like. But of course it wasn't until 1999 when Sega released that game that has aged faster than Macaulay Culkin's face, when we heard Sonic himself refer to his circular rival as Dr. Robotnik for his name and Eggman as his unfortunate nickname. However, did you know that this wasn't the biggest name change to happen in Sonic's history? Oh no. That award goes to Sonic the Hedgehog himself. If you was a kid who lived in Japan during the early days of Sonic's long life, you would of course have been surrounded by Sonic merch. However, only 1 year into his life, in 1992, a slight change started to litter the little blue hedgehog's merchandise. And would you believe it, 2 video games too. Kind of. You got Sega Sonic Popcorn Shop and Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. Now for years, Sonic and Sega fans have always looked at these as simple name changes to differentiate themselves from the console releases. But in fact, according to an interview with Manabu Kosinoki, the designer of the Mighty Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel characters, the real reason for this name change was due to Sega possibly losing the Sonic trademark. The title was originally in development as Sonic the Hedgehog, but during development, Sega lost the Sonic trademark. We were afraid that we wouldn't be able to use the Sonic title, so we added the Sega part, and that's how we ended up with Sega Sonic. After that, I believe they cleared up the trademark dispute, and that's why only the arcade version ended up as Sega Sonic. But that's just my conjecture. I don't really know the details, they certainly own it now, but at the time, there was some dispute involving the Sonic part, and out of an abundance of caution, we changed the title. That was the situation we were dealing with at the time. Now, according to the excellent blog MD Shock, this trademark dispute was actually with arcade rival Taito. Sega put in the Sonic trademark application for the Spiky Hedgehog 6 months before the release of the first game, and Taito put in a different Sonic trademark only 3 days later for their arcade punch-em-up Sonic Blast Man. Long story short, this is why Sonic's arcade outings had the Sega Sonic branding, but they were still able to get away with simply Sonic in the home. It wasn't until 1996 that Sega finally got their application approved for arcade video games sporting the Sonic name, but Taito on the other hand, they had their trademark application approved in 1993, which means that they are the only company that have the rights to release Sonic branded UFO catchers, coin pushers, arcade medal machines and arcade punching machines. You laugh, but anything would have been better than Sonic the Fighters. Hey there guys, thanks for checking out this little collaboration I did with Larry Bundy Jr. Thank you very much for watching the video. This is one I've wanted to do for a little while. I scripted this video, I edited this video, and I'm just so happy to have Larry in there to voice a couple of the segments. It was a great collaboration. Very happy to have finally, after all this time, actually done a proper video with him. But anyway guys, this is the part of the video where I'd like to give a massive shout out to all of the patrons and YouTube members that help me make videos like this every week. I have a huge video coming out either this weekend coming or the weekend after, and it's because of patrons and YouTube members that I'm able to put the sheer crazy amount of time in, and when you see it you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So thank you all so much, with an extra big shout out going to Aaron Gorman, Andrew Dalton, Andrew Ward, Arista, Benjamin Guy, Big Rico, Bram Perez, Brandon Gold, C64 Television, Caesar, Cheshire One, Chris the Rottweiler, Clan Bob, Conrad Constantine, Cramilla, Daniel Terrazas, David Yaron, Dina, Dr. J, expert in moonology, Elf Daughtercrafts, Game Apologist, Gary Pinkett, Hut, Intrigued Gaming, Jabba Al Aiden, Jacob P, aka Avalon Janes, Jeff Ladd, Jeff Mianowski, Jeremy Rodriguez, Jonathan Hayward, Kevin King, Kinglink Reviews, Lucas Softail, Lipt, Man of God 9000, Marcus Kingemo Cut Tyndall, Michael Towns, Mike Martin, Mind of the Unsane, Mr. Golden, Nicholas Burton, Nick Pollard, Nightwheel, Petty Mew, Pretendo64, RetroReversing.com, Retro to Next Gen, aka Lou, Richard Alderjick, Richard Carter, aka Fantastic Dizzy, Rocket Plod, Ronnie Method SSWB, Rovenami, Ryan Holt, Sashi Dog, Samuel Nilsson, Shadow Dragon, Solex Captor, Stephen, Taylor Rainwater, That Gamer, The Cunning Linguist, the Shaded J, Tim Levante, Tim Lund, Hodpool Float G, Trans Rights, Vike Echo, Wobbles and Bean, The Wonder Ducks, and Ye Old Hamburglar. Like I said, these are the people that help me out every single month, and without them I wouldn't be able to make the crazy amount of videos that I'm currently putting out. Within the next few days, these awesome patrons and YouTube members, doesn't matter what tier they are, will all be able to see the next exclusive Kickstarter exclusive video before it goes live like 6 months down the line. Very excited about that. If you decide you want to sign up, you'll be able to see all of the videos you're seeing at the bottom of the screen before everybody else, and there's loads of other awesome perks too, like seeing videos early, see what I'm working on, get updates from me, behind the scenes stuff, and what else? A part of the new Slopescast podcast as well, yes, and that's going out on Spotify now, so thank you very much everyone that's listening over there. I think that's probably enough. That's probably enough. This is DJ Slope signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Tongue-tied.